Live people ignore the strange and unusual. I myself am strange and unusual.
Hey guys, this is Anna here, and wow, this video is very long overdue, and for that I am very sorry. But I'm finally here making an update on my CBD video, on my CBD journey, answering your guys' questions for my first video. A lot to go over in this video. There are definitely some things I have since educated myself on since my first video that I definitely want to talk about. I also just want to thank you guys so much for watching my first video. If you commented, if you shared your story about your mental health journey, your CBD experience. So many of those comments helped me and really inspired me to keep making more videos like this. So I just want to say thank you, and I read every single comment I got on that video. So I'm really just here to further the conversation, answer your questions, and let you know what I have learned. So first of all, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I put out a video called I Tried CBD for 6 weeks straight for anxiety and depression. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it below. I kind of go over the basics in that video, and it's really just a documentation of my personal journey. I also had chronic headaches and pretty bad insomnia, so I was just really interested in the health benefits that I had heard of from CBD. Pretty much documented that for you guys. I wasn't expecting to get as many views as I did and as many comments and people messaging me, and so that was really cool to see. So I guess the first thing I want to get out of the way is the question of, am I still on CBD? Am I still taking CBD after my documentation of 6 weeks straight? And the answer is absolutely 100% yes. So I am officially have been on CBD for around a year now. I'm looking that I uploaded that video around a year ago. So I would say a little over a year now I've been taking CBD. The other biggest question I got is what brand of CBD I take, which I thought I made pretty clear in the first video, but that was like one of the biggest comments is what brand I was taking. I'm pretty sure I said it, but Charlotte's Web is the brand that I take. Charlotte's Web, Charlotte's Web, Charlotte's Web, Charlotte's Web, okay? Now that we're all clear, Charlotte's Web. I take Charlotte's Web because of its reputation. It's a very trustworthy brand, but on the downside to that, it is also very expensive. So in this video, I want to talk about some more affordable brands, but here's the thing about CBD, which I have learned. I'll kind of circle around in a second, but basically, ever since my CBD video, I had a lot of CBD companies reaching out to me to make a video on their brand because my last CBD video was getting some pretty good traction. And at first, I had absolutely no problem with that. I had fallen in love with CBD and its health benefits and was willing to review anything more affordable for you guys and promote that for you guys. What I learned from trying a lot of those products was that I couldn't really tell a major difference when taking them, and that's the problem with CBD. It's not just you take it and it cures everything. I mean, it's definitely a gradual thing, which I'll get into, and I'll kind of get into like what I've learned about all that because it is very confusing and kind of hard to understand. But the main reason that I have since taken some of those videos down is because CBD is unregulated. It is non-FDA approved, which means that many companies can be inaccurately labeled, and it can be very hard to know what you're actually buying. I'm going to get into some ways that you can know if you're getting good CBD because that is very important. So from my research, it's very important to make sure that your CBD is third-party tested. And that means that an outside lab has confirmed that the product contains what it says it does. You should be able to find this information on their website, but please be careful because this is a huge growing industry. But it is also, like I said, unregulated, so there are tons of scam artists trying to rip off people who are looking for real CBD. So I'm going to read this little paragraph that I found online that really describes why it's so hard to find good CBD, and it talks about kind of what I already said, but let me just read this to you. So it says, unfortunately, it is not always easy for consumers to determine which CBD brands are trustworthy. With the growth and popularity of CBD oil, new brands and merchants are coming out every day. Each one promises you to offer the best and highest quality. However, until the FDA releases its final regulations for CBD supplements, products remain in a regulatory gray area, and consumers are at a high risk of buying poor quality CBD. And let me make this clear to you guys, quality matters. You are not going to get the benefits you're looking for unless you are taking a high quality CBD, so let's get into that. In fact, low quality CBD oils could even contain harm toxins, and a bunch of these companies, I believe, are putting things in their CBD oil and in their products that are just a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of fillers that you don't need. Also, I wanted to put in a quick disclaimer from my research. For whatever reason, it is a known thing that you should never buy CBD on Amazon, okay? There are a bunch of people putting fake CBD products on Amazon for whatever reason. I don't know why, but please do not buy a CBD product from Amazon. So back to things to look for when you're looking for a CBD. Like I said, the third-party testing is a big one, but also you want to look at how it's made and where it comes from. The other huge thing is whether or not the CBD is full spectrum, which I will get into that. And then again, just the overall transparency and communication of the brand. If they're willing to email you back and give you all this information, then that's usually a good sign. I mean, if they can prove everything and they got the receipts, then that's definitely a good sign. Like I said, you want to look into how it's made and where it comes from. So I'm going to read this next part because I don't fully understand it. This is about how it's made. So you want to research the vendor's production methods. The information can be found on their website, it should be, or through talking to a customer service representative. Quality CBD brands most commonly use ethanol or supercritical CO2 extraction. Okay, so those are two things you want to look for. You also want to look for where it comes from, and for my research, right now it's definitely recommended to buy CBD that is grown in the US. Again, this stuff should be readily available to you on their website, and if it's not, that's definitely a sketchy sign. Another helpful tip I found when researching is that reputable CBD brands should definitely have recent lab results available to you. So again, find that on their website or reaching out to customer service. I had no idea about this, but apparently that's a thing. You want to look for a CBD product that uses the whole plant instead of isolates. Isolates are really growing in popularity, but those types of CBD products can actually be less effective with their benefits. The whole plant ones have a lot more natural compounds in them. Okay, now let's talk about spectrums. When you go onto a CBD website, it's going to tell you if it's full spectrum, broad spectrum, or an isolate, I believe. And then some will say whole plant, which I believe is the same as full spectrum, but it's really important to find which one works best for you. And I'm going to kind of talk about which ones are best for which things, if that makes sense. So let's talk about what those three things mean. Isolate means that it just contains CBD and no other cannabinoids. Full spectrum means it also contains cannabinoids, but also a little bit of THC. Although this THC amount is usually very, very, very low, you do want to be careful when consuming full spectrum if you work at a place where you're going to get tested, because that can show up in drug tests. And then broad spectrum contains a bunch of cannabinoids as well, but it does not contain THC. That has been so hard for me to say. I keep saying cannabinoids. Cannabinoids. I'm having to say so many big words. Now, I also want to add that a lot of research has shown that when CBD and THC is used together, they can be a lot more effective with their health benefits, which is super interesting. It's actually called the entourage effect, and it has been shown that those together can be more effective of just the cannabinoids alone. Another thing I read was that a lot of times people complain about literally not feeling any effects from a CBD product because it's actually an isolate. If you have experienced that, you might have been taking a CBD isolate. The isolates are heavily processed because it is difficult to strip away everything naturally occurring in the hemp, so that's where you kind of eat. The more natural, the better. Recent studies show that CBD isolate is only effective with a very specific dose that varies from each individual. Now, I also wanted to talk about some ingredients that you may see on the labels. This is important to pay attention to. In a full spectrum CBD, you might see some of these compounds, and these compounds are okay to see, okay? You might see proteins, fatty acids, chlorophyll, fiber, flavonoids, and terpenes. You also want to make sure that a high quality carrier oil is being used to stabilize and preserve the CBD. One of the best carrier oils available is MCT, medium chain triglycerides, a natural extract from raw coconut oil. Guys, I usually don't have to say this many big words, so I'll put all this on the screen so you guys, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, you can see what I'm talking about. That being said, there are also some ingredients you need to look out for. Natural or artificial flavoring and coloring can take away the potency and benefits from the CBD. You also want to watch out for products that contain any kind of potentially harmful additives and or chemicals such as pesticides. That is so disgusting. This is something I really want to talk about because I did put out a video where I reviewed a specific CBD brand, and one of the things they sent me to try was their gummies, and I said they made me feel sleepy, so I thought maybe that was the CBD at work. Since then, I have done more research and found out what was actually in the gummies that I was taking. You think I would have done that beforehand, but basically CBD gummies will commonly contain glycerin, colors, and flavors. Okay, I thought I had it in my notes, but there's also another ingredient that they commonly put in CBD gummies that make you feel sleepy. I don't know if it's like necessarily bad for you, but that's something to look out for because I didn't know that, and when I was taking those gummies, I wasn't necessarily taking them at a time of day where I wanted to be sleepy. So again, goes back to please check your ingredients, do your research. This also goes back to if a certain product is not working for you, you're not seeing any results, it might just be the ingredients that are in that, so try out a different form of CBD. Like tinctures really work for me, smoking and vaping really works for me, and gummies and edibles don't really work for me. Another helpful tip when looking at ingredients, watch out for the terms hemp oil and hemp extract, two vague terms commonly used on products with zero CBD. So like I just said, CBD vape pens really work for me, but again, a lot of these CBD vape pens have a lot of additives, including thinners, thickeners, flavorings, vitamins, or other essential oils. According to media reports, people are selling all manner of liquids in vapes, and the FDI oversight is severely lacking. Colorado cannabis regulators intend to ban 3 problematic vape pen additives: PEG, MCT oil, and tocopherol acetate. I'm gonna put it up here. Washington State banned that thing I just said earlier this week. I don't know when that was written, but earlier that week from when this was written. I will cite all the websites I've got all this information from in the information box below, by the way. Other states will likely follow. Vaguely worded natural ingredients, so you want to look out for the thing that says natural ingredients because you don't know what that means. Our other red flag on CBD vapes. Many natural ingredients like vegetable oil do not belong in a vape. This is really inspiring me to do more research on CBD vapes and kind of do a dedicated video to like good trustable CBD vapes because they really calm my anxiety like that, like immediately, which, you know, the oil or the tinctures don't do. That's more of like you have to take it for a while and it gets in your system and takes a while to set in. Smoking and the vaping is really a way to get instant relief, especially if you have panic attacks. Keep an eye out for that. I would like to do a video on that. Alright, so I pretty much covered everything you need to look out for in your CBD products. If you have any more questions, leave them down below. I'm sure there was something I missed. Again, there's so much information on this. Again, you just have to do your research, have to look into these brands. I would love to do more videos on brands I recommend, do more research on those brands. I will be putting some in this video, but again, I do want to like do a little more extensive research into that, so keep an eye out for that. But let's talk about taking CBD and how it works with your body and all those types of questions that I really did not explain well in my first video at all because I was just learning and I didn't know. So I kind of talked about this in my first video, but the appropriate serving size of CBD greatly depends and varies between each person, okay? Your size, your weight, your health problems, what you're taking it for, your metabolism, your body chemistry, what form of CBD you're taking. Okay, this all comes with time and with experimenting, and again, you take a shot every time I say research, but research. So with CBD tinctures, the immediate effects of CBD usually take effect from 30 minutes to 90 minutes in, but long-term results may take several weeks to achieve. You can also mix CBD oil into drinks and food, but this may affect absorption. So when I take the tinctures every single night, I just take my Charlotte's Web full spectrum under my tongue, hold it there, swallow. But I have read that if you have food in your system, if you just ate before that, you're not going to absorb as much of it as if you were taking it on an empty stomach. Okay, so this was something that I learned from the comments in my last video, which I did not mention in the actual video itself, but this is very important. So with taking CBD tinctures, you don't want to touch the tincture to your mouth because apparently it can affect the potency and the bacteria from your mouth can get back into the CBD and affect the preservation of it and the overall quality of it. So try not to touch it to your mouth. Yeah, that was something super helpful that I learned from the comments. So thank you guys for teaching me that. A bunch of people were just saying that CBD didn't do anything, they didn't feel anything, and again, that just goes back to you have to give it time. The results are slow and they are subtle. And again, they vary among people. So a good way to know if it's working for you is to maybe keep a journal, track your results. For me, the biggest effect that I personally saw was my sleeping habits. CBD is really the only thing that helps me sleep all the way through the night. Before taking it, I would wake up several times through the night, and I even think that my tolerance for it might be increasing because I've started to wake up more and like not sleep as well lately. So I'm going to try upping my dosage and I'll update you guys on that, but I remember in the beginning, like that was the main thing I saw. But again, everyone's different. So I'm going to read something off about CBD edibles because a lot of people, when they say that they don't feel anything, a lot of the time they're trying CBD edibles. And so here's a little excerpt on maybe why you're not feeling anything. When it comes to CBD edibles, it has to process through your liver. which reduces the final amount of CBD absorbed in your body. When eating CBD, you'll likely have to increase or even double your regular dose. It says here that usually you'll feel the stress and pain-relieving effects of CBD within 45 minutes of your first dose. But CBD does build up in your system. So for best results, especially with anxiety release, dose consistently, like daily. So there's a big question and answer for you guys. If you're looking to take CBD for anxiety, you're gonna have to take it every day, almost like you're taking an anxiety medication or something that really helps you long term. People always say start low and go slow. If you're new to CBD or cannabis, start with 5 to 10 milligrams. See how that feels and increase your dose as needed. I think I talked about that a lot in my first video because I was really struggling with how much to take and what the recommended starting dose was, but 5 to 10 milligrams, good starting base. Again, keep a journal, slowly up it, and see how that works for you. So I'm going to put a source below, right at the top, for a website that lists the best, most trustworthy CBD companies, and when you go on there, you can find which ones are in your price range. From what I found, the better CBD companies are going to be a little more expensive, and I really do think you pay for what you get. I still stick with Charlotte's Web to this day because I know what I'm getting, and I feel the results, and I've seen it positively impact my life, and that's why I do pay that much for it. But I totally understand that not everyone can do that. I'm going to put that list below of those companies. Those are the ones I'm going to recommend for right now until I do more research. I'll put some of them on the screen right now so you guys can see like the cheaper ones that I found from my little research of them that I found that I think are trustworthy. So look into those. I would love to do a video dedicated on vaping. I was going to talk about it a little in this video, but I'm really just, I need to do more research. I also just wanted to add in quickly that I have experimented with vaping and smoking CBD. So that means buying the flower of CBD. I would like to do more research on that because I want to make sure that there's no way for them to like lie about that and put like harmful toxins in the flower itself. I don't know how there could be. Maybe I'm stupid, but I feel like that's a pretty safe way of getting CBD. Maybe I'm wrong, but my boyfriend got me CBD flower for my birthday and it was around 30 to 40 bucks when I asked him. And I don't know about you guys, but where I live, CBD shops are popping up literally everywhere. I mean, there's one on like literally every corner. You can even go to your local smoke shop and a lot of times they have CBD flower there. So that's where my boyfriend got mine, and you just grind it up, put it in a pipe and smoke it, and let me tell you, it is one of the best ways for me to get that immediate relief when I'm having anxiety or even depression, just like to lift my spirits or, you know, tell me, relax me at the end of the day. And no, it does not get you high whatsoever. Like, my main point for this video was to give y'all some helpful tips on how to find good CBD because it's just really important and there's so much information. And I don't want to drag this video on too long. If you guys want, I'll make those videos on the smoking and the vaping. I just want to give you guys the best information I can. And I really hope more people can use CBD to help them. It's helped me so much. My headaches are so less frequent. I sleep better. My anxiety is more manageable, and yeah, I really only have good things to say about it when you find actual, real, good quality CBD. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment below if you have any questions or, you know, have anything to teach me. Again, y'all taught me so much in the last comment section. Subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video.